Hey there guys, Tristan Bond, CEO and founder of Practice Acceleration. Welcome to today's podcast. And today I've got the fabulous Chris Fawcett joining me. A little bit of background about Chris. Chris and I have been working together quite a while now. When we met, had literally just done $280K that year. And now he's doing over $1 million a year. But what's most impressive is he's gone from 60 hours of clinical down to 0. In today's podcast, you're going to hear all about Chris's journey, what he did, what he didn't do, so that you can learn from him and follow in his footsteps. Let's dive in. Hey Chris, welcome to the podcast. Amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good to be here.
It is fabulous to have you here. So, by a quick way of an intro, who are you? What do you do? Where do you live? Introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, thanks, Tristan. My name's Chris. I'm a physiotherapist, but now a business owner because I don't do a lot of that anymore.
That's right.
That's right. I'm from Brisbane, Australia. We run a clinic called the Headache and Pain Management Centre. Been in business now for 13 years this year. And I've been part of your program since late 2016. So
there we go. So like almost 9 years, which is awesome.
Been a while now. Yeah, absolutely.
Mate, you and I have been together longer than my marriage. So that's pretty cool. And also way more rewarding and more fun.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, so. No, I appreciate it. Mate, we're sticking together. This is awesome. Hey, so dude, you've come so far. It's been so amazing. I want to share a bit of your journey so that our listeners can understand. Firstly, many things impressed me about you. In terms of results, they're outstanding. You've gone from 28K per month up to 102K per month. You've gone from working like crazy clinical hours to now really stepping into this leadership role and building an amazing team that provide incredible results. So let's just go back to when we started working together. And I still remember that conversation. I can clearly remember. I can see the brown desk. It was a desk that it was my dad's office desk that he'd always had in his accounting firm. And I was sitting there and I was chatting with you, and life was very different to the way that it is right now. So let's just go back to that moment. What was going on for you back then when you reached out? What was happening in your practice that made you reach out in the first place? What were you experiencing?
Yes, I mean, I was, what would have been 3 or 4 years into the business journey by then. So we opened in a one-room sort of serviced office type clinic. I then expanded out to a second location, which was, about 5 times bigger. So I'd employed some staff, and I'd made the erroneous, assumption that more staff means more revenue, which means it would make my life easier. That was not the case. And, it's nothing to do with them. It wasn't their issue. It was more mine and how I, run a business and these sorts of things. And I was just very, I suppose, naive in how I thought the world worked. And I remember that there was a campaign that you ran years ago, which was something about, if you need more new patients, give us a call. And I'm like, that's me. I need more new patients. And I rang you and you said, you don't need more new patients. You need systems. And we had a chat, and that's kind of where it all started from there.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think a lot of people have that, hey, things aren't working well, or if I get more new patients, it'll kind of solve everything. It's like this magical cure. But the reality is that if you've got team members coming on board and some have got full books, others don't, all that happens if we put more leads in, it means that we're pushing all the other things under the carpet that need to be addressed in the first place, right? So we know that business-wise, you've gone from a small room to something 5 times larger. You've taken on team members. We're lacking systems. What was happening for you? How did that feel? What were you experiencing personally?
Yeah, look, it was very anxiety-ridden. I'll give you that much. I was working full-time with tools, obviously, and trying to grow this thing. And, signed a 5+ 5-year lease, and I was 2 years into it. And it was kind of struggle streak, just going, well, how I can't see a way out of this. And as it turned out, it wasn't so much that the product offering or anything that I was doing was the wrong thing. It was more business acumen, how to best sort of educate patients and then also get your message out there, which was probably the things that were lacking.
What were a couple of if we think back, like maybe say the first year together or first in 3 to 6 months, what were a couple of key things that you did that you hadn't tried before that made a big difference?
I think it was making. I've been practicing for 8 or 9 years by then, and I don't think anyone had really sort of taught me, what an initial consult has to look like in order to get that rapport between yourself and a patient. So you get sort of a surface level education at university. You get your AGs and EASs, your AM, your PM, all these sorts of basic things we push on logic. But the one thing I never realised until working with you and a couple other things which you and I both know about around that time, people don't make decisions based on logic. And if they did, the world would be a different place to what it is now. They actually make it more on how they feel about it and how they feel about the person. And so, I'm a very extroverted person who, I get along with most people pretty comfortably, but that's not always easy for everybody. And so there has to be a place to, I guess, structure those conversations with new patients, both at the desk on phone and also in the first appointment.
That's right. How do we systemize that for you and also then for your team? It made a really big difference. So so we focused you thought marketing was the issue. The marketing is always part of the issue, but the real issue was like, how do we actually have this client journey, this patient journey where they follow you and they listen to your team. And so that way everyone can get pretty consistent results. Because if you're able to do that, then we can pull you out of there and start growing through that.
And I remember at the time thinking that if I could only clone myself, everything would be okay. And, I think I might have even said that to you on the phone. And that was my thought process back then. And basically what I've learned the last 8 years or so is if you can clone about 80% of it, you're going okay.
That's right. Like if someone can do it 80% as well as you, that's 100% less stress for you, right? So we went through and we systemized that and made a massive difference. Let's talk about marketing as well, by the way. So what was your marketing approach before us, and how was that working? And then what were some of the initial things that we changed up?
Yeah, look, the marketing stuff it was mostly Google Ads back then, and it was a bit of an early adopter on that one. So that was getting consistent patient flow through. But and to be honest, we didn't really do a lot for the first while working together and while we got the systems in place, because as it turned out, we were actually getting enough leads in with what it was we were doing, but it was more about their treatment and their long-term planning that was sort of falling off. So either they were falling off, too early because the concepts we're introducing to the patients were very different to what they might have learnt before. So we had to bridge that gap in knowledge and teach my staff how best to do that. And then once the results started to come in a more scalable sort of way, that's when we could then market more, because the team would grow. We could just talk about our experiences, talk about what we know to be true. We got on a lot of Facebook videos. I think you'd remember back in the day. I'd do a video once a week on Facebook, just organically, wasn't paying anything, but you'd get constantly 1 or 2 leads a week just from doing that. And then, of course, it kind of snowballs and skyrockets from there. So for me, with the marketing, it wasn't anything paid necessarily. It was all just, with the view of how can I help the community a bit more understand about what it is that I do. And just from being consistent with that, it sort of grew and sort of worked to where we are now, I guess.
Exactly. So we just added in one different marketing strategy at a time, make sure it was nice and easy for you to get it right. Let's fast forward to now. We actually are running some Facebook ads and whatnot. Can you share some results of like how that's working out for you now in terms of Facebook ads?
Yeah, it's going really well. So Facebook ads, we run a campaign pretty much constantly now, $10-$20 a day, getting some new leads in with forms. So you get at least a few new patients a week from that constantly. They fill the form out. We give them a bit of a phone call to triage if they're going to be the right fit for us. And then we move on from there. So, Facebook campaigns, email campaigns, Google ads as well. It's sort of
how, in terms of like for any ROI, like, so you're running the 100 patient bundle using Facebook lead ads, using our formula there. Yeah. So we're running the ad, right copy, you got the automation, the background. You said $10 or $20 per day, which is running And how many new leads are you getting from that? Like what's been a good result you've had?
Well, even just the one last week, we got 7 new leads, in which 5 booked in. If they all convert,
I think you said 30 appointments.
Yeah, each patient's worth probably 1,500 each. So if you're able to convert that properly, lay out the plans that we have in place that, and again, I would say to the audience out there is that you've got to be ethical in this sort of thing. You don't just sell to people stuff they don't need. You've actually got to have plans in place to, justify what it is that you're recommending. And we've got a full stack gin out the back, which is allowing us to do that. If you do that the right way and show them what they can be afterwards, it works. And as I said to you, we ran a campaign last week. 5 new patients came in. They all booked at least 10 each, which is 1,400 each. And then you just do the math from there. So.
Yeah. So if we look at that, 5 by 1,400, $7,000. And so we think on the math on it, 10 to 20 a day over 7 days, so $70 to $140 spent to have a pipeline value of $7,000. And you're positive on your ads in the first week as well. So you're already making profit because they come through for 1 or 2, it's banks, goes from there. And you don't need to make a big spend on it, right? So you don't need to make a big spend on it. And you're following our system to do that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Magnificent. Not nice and easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Got a question for you. All right. So we'll go a little bit off beat. What do most people in the business of healthcare get wrong? You've been around the place a long time now. You've met a lot of people inside our program, and you meet a lot of new people at events and whatnot. What is it that most people are getting wrong in the business of healthcare?
That's a great question. Healthcare, by its nature, is about building relationships with people and building rapport with one another. And there's a whole other world out there that I had no idea existed, which is all about sort of introductions. It's about ensuring that you're looking to solve somebody's problem. I think the biggest lesson that I learned from you and Sarah as well was that a lot of people are in a different space of awareness of where they're at in their journey compared to what you are as a healthcare professional. So you're there wanting to, give a solution, sell a product, whatever it might be. But the person coming to talk to you might not know what the problem is yet. And so you've actually got to work back to where they're at and understand that there's it's a science. It's really science, Tristan.
It's science. Business is science, influence, and persuasion.
That's it. And I think it's basically having those tools to know how best to have those conversations with people, not to make it awkward. And then you can be your authentic self and give the authentic solution rather than feeling awkward about it, and making sure that they're actually wanting what it is that you're giving without it feeling pushy or salesy or anything like that. It's basically now just a conversation, and people have the choice to take it or leave it, and most of the time they take it.
Yeah. So if we were to say that in a different way, like what do you think is most practice owners, what is it they're missing that's holding them back? Like for someone listening right now, if they're back and maybe they're like, you've gone from the 28K per month up to 102K per month. So let's say they might be at 28K per month right now, or maybe they're at like, when you went to the 50K per month level, like what is it that you think they're missing that they need to get to that next level? What's holding them back?
In healthcare, I think the word selling is a very dirty word because we think of, unscrupulous providers that sell snake oil. We think of used car sales, all the rest of it. But what selling actually is selling a service, taking somebody from one step in their decision-making process to the other, or to the next. So, teachers sell the value of education, in the same way that we would sell the value of following our advice. And I think as physios, we have a bit of a mindset block that we think that patients are just going to listen to us and everything's all going to be okay, but it's really just burying our heads in the sand and it's illusory.
That's right. So that's really this is good. This is really good. It is about selling actually. And it's interesting that, there's some different views people have around the word sales and their response to it and their reaction to it and so on. But the thing is, like, people don't say yes to what you recommend unless they really believe in you and they want to do it. Like, people don't just blindly follow, right? And so even let's say that we have someone who is, say, an unscrupulous provider, and we don't have them in our program. You and I are not friends with those people, but let's say we did. They could still go out and say to someone, here's what you should do. But no one's going to listen to them because it's literally not that powerful. It's not like a magic trick of like, do this, they're going to do it. It doesn't work like that.
No, or worse, they're very good at selling, they're unscrupulous, and then they get burnt and they actually lose faith in healthcare as it is. So you've got to have the full stack. You've got to be, you have the product, you have the ethics to do what it is you need to do. And if you've got that start, then you're able to, you earn the right, I guess, to be able to, learn the tools and the structures, I guess, that make it successful.
So now the thing is, like you're so right. It's like breaking down the practice owner's mindset and their mind block regarding selling. Because when you can sell, let's just call it what it is, selling. And selling is moving from one area to the next, making a transformation. And it's like helping them. It's like, and we have a 9-box grid to help people to do that in a very ethical, conversational way, where your patients are going to say yes, and they're going to follow your advice, and therefore you get an epic outcome. So the first sale is to yourself, the owner, like learning how to sell and do it in a way where you feel really comfortable with. But then it's about getting your team to do it, right? So how have you found it's been effective? How have you been educating your team to get them to replicate the results like you? Because we didn't want it to be the Chris show. That's the whole thing. Like, you came to me, you're burning out. We're like, we want this to be your brand, the Chris brand, but not about Chris doing the actual clinical. So tell me about what are some lessons you've learned there with training team and how to sell, which is really rebook, treatment plan, and
yeah, well, you're so right in that the first sale was to myself. And I remember the chat that I had with you right at the start about it all, because, again, I was very locked into how it would work, how I thought it ran. But after I worked out that it's actually just discussing, having a conversation in such a way that takes you to the next step. And there's also, there was a study or a course. No, it was a course that I did a couple of years after meeting you about what happens in someone's brain when they're led properly. Like what the change in the brain are when you're able to effectively communicate. They relax, their shoulders go down when they've got each process. There's not that anxiety that's there. So with me, what I had to do with team, because I had to bridge that gap again, is to show, look, if you're not doing this, you're actually doing a disservice to your patient. If you're not building a relationship with them, if you're not telling them the truth about, hey, look, it does take 12 weeks to grow a muscle, it takes this long for pain to go away, instead of, pretending that this isn't a thing. And also pretending that, when we're at school, have math class every single day, just have it once every 2 weeks. Otherwise, you just forget it. So you actually do need to educate your patients early about what it is that they need to do, get that buy-in, get that commitment that they're going to follow your advice. And that's really been the game changer with sort of training teams to do that. And practically everyone that comes on board now, as a new grad particularly, they're taught that day one, lesson one, that it's actually that relationship building right from the start, which is the key.
And it's ongoing. So, like, how often are you training your team in that?
Yeah, in terms of training, it's ensuring that you've got if the results are there, there's not a lot that you need to do. You just sort of keep maintaining, what are you doing today with your patients? What might they come with? We have a questionnaire that's filled out about what they're after. So how we're going to frame this, how we're going to explain it. If there's someone that's struggling a little bit, there might be a bit more support given as needed. But you're always talking to them, whether it be daily, weekly. You don't want to leave it much more than that, because otherwise it's...
And so you're going through results weekly, aren't you? Looking at their statistics and giving them guidance on that. So that's a good point for everyone listening. So Chris trains everyone from day one. He doesn't let a new therapist treat patients unless they know how to do the conversion consult, like we train it, because you don't learn on the job. You learn how to do. You train yourself with bad habits on the job, and then Chris maintains their results by meeting with them weekly to look at their stats. And that's part and parcel how, like, one of the biggest ways you've been able to remove yourself. And like, it's no small dude. Like, seriously, tip my hat to you. Like, 28K per month to 102K per month. Like, that's truly spectacular. So it's a huge business growth. Talk to me about the personal growth you've gone through in order to shift from that. Like, what is different about Chris now compared to 2016 Chris? What would your wife say? What would Martina say? What would she say, like, Chris now versus then, apart from being obviously better looking? And what would she say?
I think there's just a lot more confidence and stability around what it is that I'm able to do day to day. As I'm more freedom, we've started a family, so we've got that happening, which is great. There's more long-term planning that's able to happen as a result as well. I'm just sitting in my new clinic, so it's 3 times as big as the one that was 5 times as big last time. So
So now we're 15 times bigger than the first one.
that's it. I think we've gone
Got
from
15x, baby. I love it.
12 meters squared to 290 or something. So
Massive.
it's all been organic from there. So the biggest shifts I think is to not sweat the small stuff and just trust the systems and processes to get the job done. And most of the time when things are going wrong, it's because a system hasn't been followed or a process hasn't been followed. You just systemize and process everything, and things tend to work out pretty well for you. Yeah.
So in the past, like I remember when we met, and you're doing that 28K per month, you were very stressed out. I'm not sure if you remember, but I do. And now when you get stressed out, you seem to bounce back a lot faster. So can you talk to me about that? Like, I mean, a business is obviously it's a journey, it's a challenge every day. Like we never get to a point in a business where there's not going to be problems, but you tackle them differently now. So like when you run into some hardship now, what do you do that's different compared to what you used to do?
Yeah, it's a mindset shift from last time. Every problem isn't the end of the world. There's a couple of points to that. One would be, it's just another one of those is a good sort of, thought process. And, you and I both know that I've been through a fair bit with this journey and on the way through, and you don't get any progress unless you've gone through those things. But and the other one is you can also let small fires burn. You don't have to always fix everything straight away. Look at what the big problem is, prioritize it, sort that out, and then move to the next thing. Do one thing at a time. I still need to be reminded of that, as you know. But for the most part, it's actually just looking at what the biggest lever you need to pull is right now in order to get it to, to either right the ship or to move forward, depending on where you were at in that sort of point in time. Yeah.
So, Chris, like you've been working there a long while now, and you're part of our higher performance group called the Boardroom for people doing $1 million and $1 million plus. What difference does it make to you? Like when you're surrounded by, I think we got, it's a really tight knit group inside that community, 30 people. We go away together 3 times a year, and you guys hang out with me every week. And what difference does that make to you? Just being around other like-minded people. Like, what do you get out of that?
Yeah, it's. Even though it's a 3 times a year sort of work trip, it's actually almost a relaxing kind of experience for me because you're surrounded by like-minded people who've gone through what you've gone through before. Either you're in a position where you can help somebody else who's going through what I might have gone through previously, but then you've also got people there that are a little bit ahead of where I'm at, perhaps, that are doing other things which can help me with it too. So, business ownership can be a very lonely place, particularly in healthcare, because there's all the stigma and a lot of judgment around. Oh, you're just putting your kids through private school and all this kind of rubbish that goes around. They want to be working in hospitals and stuff. But the fact of the matter is that the people that are around are building businesses that are there to serve the community. They're there to serve the profession. And each and every one of them have that goal in mind. The profitability and the rewards that come from that are a byproduct and a icing on the cake for their vision that they want. No one goes into physio to make $1 gazillion like you'd go into finance or accounting or something like that to do that. Everyone wants to do the right thing first and be rewarded for it, but only after those core values, the vision's upheld to help people. So being around that group of people is just sensational. Like it's the best part. Yeah.
And the irony is like with it, I mean, in this group with Boardroom, we're talking about like everyone's hungry, humble and smart, really great people, and they're highly ethical, and yet they're the most highly paid. And it's like kind of flips on its head that societal view of like, oh, you're just chasing money. So actually, no, it's like we're chasing a vision and we're aligning our values, providing incredible outcomes. And as a result, getting paid a lot. You don't get paid a lot until you make all the impact. So we're kind of flipping that on its head. And what I love now is we think about the evolution of boardroom and the results people are getting. It's like everyone raises a standard, and it's like, no one knew that the 4-minute mile was possible till Roger Bannister ran it. And I think it was in 1954. And then people started breaking that pretty quickly thereafter. Whoa, it's possible. So it's like this, like, oh, wow, like it's power proximity. So Chris, when you lose inspiration, how do you get it back? When you lose your mojo, how do you get it back in business?
Yeah, it happens. And business,
like Austin Powers lost his mojo when Dr. Evil took it from him. Yeah, and the whole world like fell off its axis. So when you lose your mojo, how do you get it back?
It's just getting it grounded. You've got you've got the group that's there. You've got the Facebook group that's there. You've got yourself and all the other coaches that you can always reach out, either on a call or even to other members of the group, just to sort of fill in. And I'm very close friends with a lot of them now, and you just reach out. So yeah, and so that'll be the first thing, is you can reach out to your support networks. But secondly, it's a mindset shift as well. It's a decision to be in a funk, or a decision to lose your mojo. Even a couple of weeks ago, there was a Monday where I just wasn't feeling it, and like 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I was down the dumps, like feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, nah, need to change my physiology here. Something needs to change. And so I did something different from 12 to 1, and then just bashed out 8 hours worth of work in 4 hours in the afternoon. So you have those sorts of mindset shifts as well when you've been in this sort of environment a lot, because you see what others are doing too. And it's a sort of positive feedback loop as you work it through. Yeah.
I've got this little win just in front of me about you, Chris, like when you had like your mojo was challenged. And here's your comment. Sometimes a week takes a year, and other times a year happens in a week. And you've gone through and you said, we just did not take an action back to 95K this month with a reduced number of physios. We had one physio resign, but now we've got fresh blood coming through. We've taken action, taken emails. They're going out and getting new patients through the door. Facebook ads are live, getting new patients through the door. Completed core values, vision, mission statements, and all the job ads are out. And it's just bang. And you also said here, interviewed a great applicant and I baked a cake for my son's 3rd birthday. So it's like, it's a decision, right? You're like, hey, this is happening. What's going on? What's my decision? And you just lock in and you just take action. And I just love that about you. You're able to, like, you get grounded. All right, cool. Which fires do I need to put out? We can let that burn. Let's choose this one. Let's go for it. Let's lead the way. What do you most love now that you're not clinically practicing, but you're leading a team? What do you most love now about your business compared to before when you were actually doing all the clinical work yourself?
I think what the exciting thing now for me is knowing now what's really possible. So
what's possible? What does that mean? What's possible now? You didn't know before. Now your eyes are open.
Yeah. So it's becoming the go-to place for both new grads and highly skilled physios to come and work for, because we just get it done. It's a good environment. It's a beautiful clinic. We've got all the equipment that just solves issues. And I'm really excited just to find people that want to share that with me, and sort of come to work every day to like enjoy the company of the people that you're keeping. And it's taken a long, long time, a lot of slow burn, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of work to get there. But it's the excitement of what the next sort of 2, 3, 5 years is going to bring, where I can really, if I say so, cash in, so to speak, on the work and all the investment I've put into it and my time, sacrifices, things like that. So I think the exciting thing is finally getting the vision that I'd had all those years ago when I met you, and we're very, very close. I'm so close I can taste it. So
yeah. But you've surpassed as well. Like it's interesting. Like we were setting new goals, but you've surpassed all of those goals now, and now we're setting new ones you didn't even believe were possible back then. 28K a month, 100. Like it's just such a big shift to get to 102K per month and off the tools. And we're also tremendously proud of you, and we love hanging out with you as well. Question for you: so people out there that are listening to our show, obviously we're a coaching company. What should when people are out there and they're looking for coaches and whatnot, what do you think they should look for? What is it they should look for that to help them make the right decision on who they choose?
That's a very good question. It's anyone who is looking for any product, and that would be, a patient with a physio or yourself with, the clients that you keep. Anyone who's in a service industry should be able to describe your problem better than what you can, because they have the knowledge and the know-how and the experience of what it is that you're going through, what you feel like, where your issues might lie, and be able to sort of work with them and gel with them really, really well. So I've often said since joining your program that life is just one big initial consult, and you're either the patient or the therapist in that consult. So if people are calling you and wanting to have a chat, sit down. You're the patient in that conversation.
I'm not sure if you hear, but my dog is woofing in a grommet in the background. Wolfie, can you hear him? There we go. I agree, Wolfie. You're a clever boy. You're so clever.
So it's yeah. So can they tell your story better than you can most, and guide you through the process and identify what your issues are, just like you would with a physio or a patient, as a physio towards a patient. Yeah.
Chris, what makes you keep staying with us? You've been here a long while. People often say to our members, "Hey, you've been there a long while. Why are you still here?" Like, the thing is, business is an ongoing journey, right? What makes you keep staying with us and investing in your business with us?
If you're not moving forward, you're going backwards. And so, there's a bit of a mindset shift with me, and a couple of others that have been with you a long time, is that this is now just the cost of doing business. We need to ensure, if I've got someone like yourself and the team that are able to look at what the trends are in terms of marketing, in terms of tech, in terms of all of these things, there's one less thing that's on my plate. The world is moving so fast, particularly with AI, social media marketing, internet, everything's going digital, everything's going virtual. And you're going to get behind if you haven't got that, that, I guess, cutting edge, insight as to what's coming and where things are at. And that's pretty much it, is that for us, it's just that, I think I remember saying years ago to my wife, it's like, "Oh, should I keep getting a Tristan?" And it's like, yes. Don't be stupid.
Glad she's cheering me on.
Yeah, that's right. No. And, it was one of those sort of mojo mornings that can happen, but it's like, are you stupid? Like, just keep going. And sure enough, that's exactly it. And, often things get hard, and the one thing you want to do is to let the support networks that have been sort of around you go. But that's what Phil Jauncey, the psychologist, would say, going to plan Z. Plan A is to stick course. And, plan A is to continue with the course and make sure that you're still being held accountable, you're still doing everything you need to do, keep in touch with things. And, of course, keep that contact with the people that you've got a lot of relationships with around the tribe as well, because, they're on the same journey as what I am.
Yeah, and we're constantly leveling up. Like, you're talking about AI, we're doing a lot of work with AI. We just launched our flight plan this morning for the next quarter, and how to actually choose your own game plan, and how do we map it out? How do we focus on everything, and how do we provide the right support there? Now, question for you, outside of work, what do you love to do? Tell me about Chris outside of work.
Great question. I'm a father, 3-year-old kid. AFL umpiring, so Aussie rules is the sport here in Australia. So I'm big into the officiating side of that. So I'm a coach of that. I used to be the umpire, but now I coach that. Like hanging out with friends. I'm a bit of a nerd too, so I don't switch off a lot. So I'm always constantly reading about all sorts of different things. So basically footy, family, friends, and the clinic is.
Who do you support? Who's your footy team?
The umpires at the moment, Tristan.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
So, that's where I'm at right now.
Excellent. I love that. What are you binging? Do you have any time to binge? What are you binging on TV?
I binged Squid Games.
Oh, nice.
So, that's interesting show, that.
Isn't it?
It is. But, no, Suits is a good one. I've binged that. And what was the other one? There's another one that we looked at recently. I can't remember the name of it, but I should binge more, but I don't.
No, you shouldn't. I'm just interested. I want people to learn about the real Chris. What's something most people don't know about you? What's like surprising about you?
About me. That's a really good question, Tristan. What don't they know about me?
What is something people don't know about you that you'd like them to know about?
Oh, yeah, don't know. I don't know. I wear my heart on my sleeve, Tristan. I talk too much.
No, you don't. You talk the right amount.
No, I think for me, it's that's a really good question. I'd have to get back to you on that one. I'm sorry to your listeners that I don't have anything.
No, that's okay. What's something what's going to be after we finish this podcast? What are you spending your time on today? Where is your focus? Like Chris, the business owner, is the leader of the movement. Where is your focus going to?
Yeah, so my focus after getting off this call, so I'll finish this coffee first, which came in during our conversation, and then I drink a lot of coffee. That's what I do.
There we go.
Drink a lot of coffee. So I do that. But no, what today looks like is we'll have a look at the Facebook ads that ran, and how the stats are going with that. I ran an email campaign yesterday, so I'll have a look at the open rates and see where that's at. And I've got a few more to run this week before we put an offer out on Friday.
How is that? So there's Facebook campaign going out. There's an email campaign going out. Another campaign going out on Friday. And this is just what you do. And like, so you guys listening right now, just listen to like, this is the focus Chris has on his marketing.
That's it. And I would say to your listeners too, it's not just, hey, buy my stuff. This is all, introducing things that we do without even asking for anything yet. It's building rapport. It's just education.
Connection messaging.
Right. Yeah. And so like for this week, there's 4 emails going out about, the new clinic and what is it we do, and click here to have a look at a new clinic. Like that's pretty much it. And then Friday, there'll be something go out that some people might put their hands out and say, hey, I'd like to experience that. But again, you can't do that until you've built that relationship first. And
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, you've earned the right to actually ask for the next step once you go through that content. We're hanging out again soon coming up. We're hanging out in Noosa in August for the boardroom group. You excited?
Yes, absolutely. No, it should be really, really good.
Are you bringing Martina and Luke, or are you be flying solo?
I'll be flying solo, I think, for that one. But we'll be getting together in October. The Gold Coast is going to be easier for us to get to. So
that's right. And then Barossa towards the end of the year as well, which is going to be awesome. Well, Chris, any final thoughts that you want to share with the audience today?
That's a great question. If you're watching this, you're probably a business owner who's looking to go to the next level. You're overwhelmed and stressed. Or if you're a physio watching this, you wanted to find out more about what healthcare business owners are all about. I think the main thing is that you need to get your head around what relationship building is like on day one. Being able to talk to your patients and really connect to them at their level, know how to talk to them, know the skill set to be able to have a conversation, understand what it is that they're after, because it may not be what you think that they're after. And only then is it truly patient-centered care. And so that's pretty much the big takeaway for me, is that without the systems that I've built with you, and I mean this like genuinely, I couldn't have done the patient-centered care that I'd wanted to do. So no, I can't thank you enough for that. It's good.
Oh, mate. Oh, you are so welcome. And like, it's a privilege for me to be able to work with you and provide you with the tools and support to be able to do so. And just like my reward is watching how far you've come. But I say this to when I'm meeting a new client for the first time, like what you don't actually really understand is what you're getting with me is happiness. Like, it's the outcome at the end. Like, it's the transformation of achieving your life that I want to achieve. So, we're going to wrap up this episode shortly, but what I want to say is if you're listening to this episode, guys, and you're intrigued by anything that Chris has had to share, please follow me on Instagram, Tristan Bond Official, and you'll see a lot of other great stories like this. You'll learn about a lot of our other clients. You'll learn a lot of the tools and tactics and strategies we use to help wonderful people like Chris to be able to create such epic centered care in the practice and also build a great business and a life around it. So check me out on Tristan Bond Official over on Instagram. And I'm super responsive over there. If you want any help with anything, please send me a DM. Any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you today. I look at this and I know how far you've come, but I also know that you're a man that's not going to rest on his laurels. And then the next steps that are coming up, like they're even more exciting. Like you've made so many breakthroughs and now we're going to that next level. And I'm just watching you tear it up, and it's just so exciting to watch and to be part of that. So I want to say a big thank you to you for choosing us. We take it very seriously. So thank you for the opportunity.
No, my pleasure, Tristan. Anytime. And thank you.
Awesome. All right, my man. We're going to end today's episode. I'll speak to you inside the boardroom session next week. And for everyone listening, please follow me at Tristan Bond Official on Instagram, and I'll chat with you guys there. Thank you for joining us for today's show. Bye bye. Ciao ciao. Arrivederci. Buonasera.